He burned his face in a I don't know, what do you call that? A suntan solarium? I've never had to go tanning. I guess it's called a solarium. And Marty Cordova was in there and he burned his face off. And I mean, yeah, that sounds funny, and it was funny. But he missed days because of that. He missed a couple weeks. And this guy's out here in a farm in Venezuela, fucking around with bulls. What's wrong with you? Unbelievable. The Giants and the Blue Jays are interested in Avisail Garcia of the White Sox. And look, I told you this a couple weeks ago. I think that Avisail Garcia is fair game inside that White Sox lineup. I think he's a trade chip. I don't think you want to get rid of Jose Abreu, but look, Garcia's a 26-year-old right fielder. He hit .330 last year with 18 bombs. I like his projections should he continue to progress at his current rate. I think there's value there. The Giants are desperate for a right fielder. They've look. They've offered a trade to the Tampa Bay Rays for, what was that trade? It was Evan Longoria for Hunter Pence. And the Tampa Rays they're non-committal over it. It doesn't really appeal to them, only for the fact that the San Francisco Giants would assume the contract of Evan Longoria. But here's the catch. The San Francisco Giants are trying to pawn the Hunter Pence contract onto the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Rays. Oh, I'm sorry. They're the Tampa Rays. They're not Tampa Bay anymore. And Hunter Pence is owed $18 million, which is more than what Longoria is due to be paid this year at $13 million. But the Giants are another team desperate to get under this luxury tax threshold salary cap that we don't call a salary cap. They've been over it for 5 years now. They want to reset. I don't know if it's going to happen. Because the only way for them to get better is for them to spend a little money. I mean, they got dead money on that team. And they could get Avisail Garcia and somehow get rid of Hunter Pence. I mean, win-win for the San Francisco Giants. Or as Mark McCann likes to call them, the scoundrels. Speaking of the Jays, the Blue Jays tried to actually acquire Ian Kinsler in a trade. But Kinsler had a no-trade clause, and he don't want to go to Toronto. So he turned that down. Now, the Giants, they've also kicked the tires on the red center field with a speedy outfielder, Billy Hamilton. And here's where the Giants are playing hardball. We already know that they're playing hardball with Hunter Pence, right? They want to get rid of this contract, right? Well, now San Francisco's playing hardball with the Reds. The Reds have inquired about their number one pick from last year, Helio Ramos. 19 overall pick. And the Giants are basically like, ain't gonna happen. So I don't think that's going to go anywhere. But again, San Francisco's looking for outfield help. I think the Giants have been pretty aggressive, like I thought they would be. I just don't see them coming away with anything yet. The Mets, the Rocks, the Jays, the M's, they've all showed a willingness to jump in bed with Jay Bruce. I know the Mets. The Mets have concerns about their outfield. And look, Michael Conforto is very good and all that, and he's a hell of a hitter. But I don't think he's their ideal center fielder. I think if they could move him somehow to one of those corner spots, it'd be a lot better. And I've said this before. Why don't you get Jay Bruce and Lorenzo Cain? Now look, the Mets are involved with trade talks with the Cleveland Indians about Jason Kipnis. What the fuck are the Indians doing? I don't know. I'm starting to worry. I told you I wasn't worried at the beginning of the show. Now I'm starting to worry. I think the Indians are pissing in the wind. They better knock it off. They're going to ruin a great thing. So let's say theoretically the Mets come away with a Jay Bruce, a Neil Walker or a Jason Kipnis to play second. Maybe Lorenzo Cain in the outfield. If I'm the Mets, I'll be thrilled with that. Stop being so fucking cheap. Spend some money, Will Ponce. Stop it. Can't you see what you're doing to my boy Jorge? You are killing him, man. Get it together, for crying out loud. The guy looks like he's ready to run out in the middle of traffic. Jeez. The Washington Nationals have been linked to right-handed pitching Chris Archer. Well, who the fuck hasn't? I mean, really, my God. I just sat here and told you. Everybody wants him. They've also been linked to Jake Odorizzi, Archer's teammate for the Rays. And I think one of the last stories, one of the last musings I looked around, the Tigers will only entertain highly lopsided deals in their favor for Michael Fulmer. I love that. The Tigers are like, F you, we're giving you the finger. You want Michael Fulmer, you're going to have to pay for him. And you're going to have to pay a lot. More than you would ever thought. I love that. They're telling you straight up. You want this guy? You're going to have to give us a highly lopsided deal. If not, shut your lips and go away. That's good stuff right there. I can see Al Avila being a little frisky. So there you have it. Jake Robinson Sports Experience, half man, half podcast machine. I got your hookup. Holler if you hear me. And I love doing this, guys. I gotta tell you, man, you guys are the best audience in the world. And if it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be possible. I got a great partners, and Mikey Franks, who's got the Grand Slam Fantasy Show. TJ Gordon, he's the fucking head. We form like Voltron, and TJ Gordon's the head. He's got the Rounding Third show out. And I couldn't be prouder of my boys. I'm like a proud father looking at my two ugly little Pennsyltucky sons getting pretzel mustard all over their lips. No, but look. We got a vision. And our vision is to bring baseball every day, 365 days of the year. And when we started out, the off-seasons were boring on this page. But they're not boring anymore. They never will be as long as Todd Blasingame around. And that's our duty. It's our service to bring you the greatest game in the world. I say this in all humility. There is not another sport that's better than baseball. Mikey's asking me scores about football and people catching balls. I do not know, and I do not care, dude. I could care less. I got a job to do here. I got a service that I got to send to these people. They are relying on me to give them the good shit, man. I got time to watch football, basketball. I don't have time for that. I'm invested. Brian Moore out of the Boogie Down Bronx. He asked me, why do second and third basemen get no love from the Hall of Fame? And I don't know, man. It's such a crazy, odd thing, man. I think, there have been 21 second basemen, the third least of all positions, going to the Hall of Fame. I think with second basemen, historically second basemen have always been smaller, slighter men. Their power numbers are never really up. They're usually top of the order guys, so they don't have a lot of RBIs. Now, look, I think that Robinson Cano and Jeff Kent and Kipnis and Scope, players like this are changing. Ryan Sandberg, Roberto Alomar. But even Alomar was a shifty kind of second baseman. It wasn't a big power-hitting second baseman. But I think those guys, the Sandbergs, the Kipnises, the Kents, the Canos, they're starting to change the image of second base. But I think that a lot of the older second basemen, they don't get the love and the respect that they should probably get, because they don't generate those big, gaudy power numbers. Catchers come in at second with 18 players, only 18 catchers in the Major League Hall of Fame. I think with catchers, it's a little more distinguishable because, a catcher's job is to be a catcher. Unlike the Yankees who have Sanchez. Sanchez is a hitter who wears a catcher's glove. But he might as well be wearing a skillet on his hand because he can't catch the ball. He's not a catcher. He's just a guy that carries a skillet on his hand. That's what it looks like anyway. It looks like a skillet. Looks like one of those steel iron skillets that my mom used to make blackened seafood on. You know what I'm talking about. He's got frying pans for hands, man. But the thing is, if Gary Sanchez stayed a catcher his whole career and just hit 500 bombs, he'd probably go into the Hall of Fame, even though he can't catch the ball. I think most catchers go into the major leagues knowing that they need to be a catcher first and foremost. They need to know how to read pitchers, read batters, formulate and assimilate strategies to get people out. And that's got to be your number one concern as a catcher. And I think because of that, catcher stats are usually not among the all-time greats unless you're a Piazza or a Josh Gibson. At some point, you're going to have to practice your craft, and it's going to take a lot of work to be a major league catcher. So that's why the catchers don't get loves. Now, third basemen are the least in the major leagues. They only have 16 members, 16 third basemen inducted into the Hall of Fame. And honestly, Brian, I have no idea why, man. I really cannot tell you. There's been so many great players. I look at a guy like Greg Nettles. Why isn't Greg Nettles in the Hall of Fame? I just do not get it. And I don't know, maybe I'm one of these old dudes and